Dude.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is they've been there for a long time and they're not bothering us at all.
They're not, but I don't know that we should leave it there.
Well, they're gonna get aggressive if we keep bothering them, right? Because they're just gonna keep building. So yeah, we'll have to remove the nest, but sure are pretty in the meantime.
Do you want some? Instead of judging me, join in on the fun.
Right? Is that breakfast?
No.
Oh, it's a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the first course.
Breakfast foreplay.
Just a couple.
What's nice about
They're
this?
clearly meant to be eaten at morning, because coffee,
right.
duh.
Don't eat these before bed. What's really nice is that you can't spill them like coffee, right?
Right.
But
they do melt in your pocket.
they do
Don't
melt
ask me how I
on
know.
your new car seat. So yesterday, a friend of mine who works Fire Attack told me that today we are going to fire level extreme. That was fast. We had an oddly cool June and rain and weather, and then it pretty much just stopped. And summer's here, and we're in the high 90-degree range, which is well above normal. But that's been the normal for Alyssa and I. We haven't seen these cool North Idaho summers that they speak of. So today we're looking at a low 90-degree high today, and we're going to be working in the sun again. So the good news is yesterday we got everything but the very last sheet on the west side of the roof. The east side of the roof has a little bit of mercy. We have that fir tree that's still there, and then we also get a little bit more shade there in the afternoon. I think by about 3:30 or so, that side of the roof is shaded. And there's more vegetation over there, so it stays a little bit cooler. We've had a lot of people on social media objecting to us installing our ice and water shield vertically. So I thought I'd take a moment and just share where we're at with that stuff. So a few things. One, in a lot of roof installations, ice and water shield is only installed at the eaves and on the rakes and in valleys. Its primary use is anywhere you would get ice damming, then you want to have ice and water shield, because the potential is for moisture to penetrate the roof because it's sitting there in ice form. And as the ice melts on the bottom, you get this water that cannot escape, and therefore it's highly likely that it will penetrate the roof. So you have this bituminous membrane that is waterproof, so if it does get underneath the roofing, it won't get in. In some applications, in high wind, wind-driven rain, hurricane areas, it is standard practice to use ice and water shield on the entire roof. We see that as cheap insurance. A lot of the stuff that we're doing is because we have SIPs. If we had a stick-framed house with plywood sheeting, I don't think we would have done a cold roof, and I don't think that we would have done ice and water shield on the entire roof structure. So normally the entire roof would be sheeted, and the ice and water shield would start at the eave, and it would be guttered or layered all the way up, just the same way as you install roofing material at the eave and you work your way to the ridge. Because we're installing a single piece standing seam metal roof, it is the length of this roof, one piece. And because it's hidden hardware, standing seam anyway, the hardware is hidden, so water cannot enter through hardware because there isn't any. That's not completely true in our case. You'll see when we do the roofing videos, but in a nutshell, it's a one-piece roofing material, not like a shingle or a tile where the material is staggered and broken throughout the roof structure. Second of all, if you read the details on these membranes very carefully, a membrane that is designed for roofing installation, because there are many, right? This is a membrane, but this is not a roofing membrane, from what I understand. This is a foundation membrane. It's different. Although it is bituminous, I probably wouldn't use this up here. So if we read the detail very carefully on this product, it actually says that it can be installed vertically. Normally, on a shingle roof, you would start at the eave and you would work your way to the ridge. Installing this stuff vertically would be a huge waste of productivity, Because if you wanted to make one pass across the roof, left to right or right to left, you could install a layer of membrane, maybe two. You could start your shingles and you could work your shingles and your membrane to the peak of the roof in one go. You just have to stay a little ahead of your shingles with your membrane, right? Well, installing the membrane horizontally on a metal roof is about as inefficient as installing it vertically on a shingle roof. Because in theory, if we had our metal roofing here right now, which we don't, we could install a couple layers of membrane and a panel of roofing. A couple layers of membrane and a panel of roofing. And we could go across the roof once, which is highly efficient. And it also reduces the exposure of the membrane to damage, because the less you walk on it, drag ladders across it, etc., the less prone it is to being torn or scarred or things. It can be repaired, but again, that's just double work. Many of you who have followed us for a while know that we are building in an area that does not have building codes that are enforced. We don't even have them. We don't use them. That doesn't mean that there aren't building codes in this world that we can look to and get guidance from. So in some areas, this may not be permissible. If you're building a home and they're using a portion of the code that does not allow vertical installation of waterproofing membrane, then you might want to find that out before you start. Just know this, that in every area, things are different. People do things differently. For example, if you live in an arid climate like Arizona, you may not even use ice and water shield at all on the roof. But if you live in the north woods of Wisconsin, you may use only white ice and water shield on your roof. One thing's become really obvious to me through this building process and sharing our story, and that is that the construction industry seems to be massively disjointed. Even though there's this effort to standardize, it seems like there's kind of like what the book says, and then there's the 900 different ways contractors actually do it. We've struggled in many cases to actually find all the small components that are explicitly required in the product detail in order to do the product right, because nobody stocks them, because nobody uses them. So there's the way the company says to do it, and then there's what everybody actually does. One of the things that comes to my mind is our windows. We don't have a sill flashing in there. That's going to make a bunch of people's alarm bells go off. But the reality is that people did this type of installation for many, many years. Are we running around tearing all those windows out and tearing those houses down? No. Does that mean that science hasn't evolved and there's been case studies and we've come up with new methodologies and we're building better houses now? Sure. We're trying to navigate that, because the problem is we go to the manufacturer and we get one opinion, then we talk to the local building center to see kind of what local practice is, that's another opinion, and then we talk to our engineer, and they're builder engineers, so they're working in the industry and they also have their version of kind of how things should go. So in a nutshell, Alyssa's having to be patient with me because I'm dealing with a lot of baloney as I try to find these products and materials and make sure that we're building our house as correctly as we possibly can, which is particularly frustrating. So this morning we actually put a phone call into the manufacturer of this product because they do not explicitly say in their detail that it can be installed vertically, even though they say it can be installed vertically. That's all they say. It doesn't say how, overlaps, anything like that. It's on their website, not in their detail.
Gotcha.
And so I want it in writing because I want to feel like I'm comfortable that the company's going to back their product if we install it in a way that other products can be installed. And that's to cover our butt. So that if we do have an issue with the roof, they're not just going to come back and say, oh, you installed it wrong.
Right.
Because that would be a very easy cop-out for most companies. We had that conversation with the window company. We said, if there is an issue with the window, in your experience, are they going to come back and say, this was installed wrong, therefore we're not going to warranty our window? And both people we talked to about windows said they've never had that happen. The window companies seem to be really good about backing their product. I think that's good to share. I think that's really valuable information. Is that licensed to install everything wrong? No. I guess
why it's good to do your research.
That's what I want to share.
Feel confident in the materials that you're using.
And read the details. I feel like that's really valuable. And just because you think you know how it's to be used or you think you know how houses are built Take the time, sit down,
And
read the publication.
If contractors, and it's common practice to not do what the installation instructions say, which we have found, figure out why.
Ask why.
Do your research and then decide whether you want to do what everyone else does or do what the manufacturer does. And I think there are times to do both.
Yep, and it's what you're comfortable with. We've run into situations where we could not do what was required. It was physically impossible. We could not find the product. It was not available for sale to the public. So with that situation, what are you going to do? But if it is possible, ask yourself what your comfort level is. Mm-hmm. And that's our spiel on building. So today, we're back at the cold roof. It's going to be a blistering hot day today. How are you feeling today? Are you kind of tired?
You know, I feel better than I thought I would feel.
Really?
I feel like I could put in a day of work.
Okay.
I feel like we don't really want to take time off, but we have so much to do tomorrow that if we take time off today, it's going to be a full 2 days off. So we need to keep going.
Yeah.
We have family coming into town tomorrow. We have a dentist appointment. We have to go pick up stuff from Home Depot. We have packages coming in.
It's kind of happening again. We're getting behind on life again. Because
it takes 2
we're
days to
doing
get behind
12,
life.
14-hour days, and so then life just kind of stacks up around
Never
our
mind
ears.
that we have 40 gallons of apricots in the garage and 10 gallons, 2 gallons of huckleberries. Just not enough time in the day. Oh, video hasn't been edited, like no time for anything.
No.
So, but today is roof day, so we're gonna shut all that other stuff out and just have our minds up here.
Yep. I say we get this side done before the sun gets on that part of the roof.
Let's do it.
And then switch to prep somewhere in the shade. And
Agreed.
then move everything over to the other side of the roof. Well, that's it. This side is complete for sheeting. Returning your call, left you a message this morning about vertical installation of the MUX from Polyglass. Sorry, my phone never rang, so give me a call back when you can. Definitely look forward to talking to you and get some more information about this product. Talk soon. Bye. Dunzo. Hello, this is Jesse. You know it, 100 degrees on a roof, perfect. Did you say it can be used vertically? I'm sorry, you kind of cut out for a second there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Cool. Do you have that anywhere in writing at all? Do you have a spec sheet that includes that? I couldn't find anything in writing from Polyglass on that.
You probably will never find anything.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. The thing is we're right now we're redoing a bunch of our details because they're lacking so much information.
Amen.
Honestly, they're really hard to find any of our details that, that outline anything right now.
Okay, well, that makes me feel better because I was like, I'm pretty good about finding whatever the manufacturer requires, reading the detail if I have questions asked. But in this one, I was like, well, it actually does say on the website, kind of in the description. And I'm like, wow, that's it. That's the detail. Okay, great. Hey, appreciate the help.
Bye-bye.
So it's not in their documentation because they're working on their documentation, but they say, yes, it can be installed vertically, but because of the temperature range, they recommend nailing it off underneath the overlap. We did not do that. So that's new information for me. It is actually recommended in some of the other details for other products, and the concern there being high temp. So we'll have to add that to our detail when we install the membrane. I can kind of see that the stuff that's already up there got cooked in the sun yesterday, and it's definitely kind of got that bubbly look about it. Maybe because it's sagging, maybe not. We may need to just go over it with a roller and push it down. It's kind of an interesting comment from the rep there. He said typically people put down a 30-pound felt and then they membrane over the felt. That way, if you ever have to remove the membrane for some reason, you've got a way to get it off there. Because once it sticks to the deck, he says, never coming off. I would agree with that. So that's something that I need to think about. I might even chat with my engineer a little bit about it and see if that's worth doing. Because we've got an open deck right now. Felt is cheap, and man, I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit more labor now, but I can see having to remove this stuff. And I think what it is if you ever had to go over it with another layer of membrane, you would have to have some separation. Things to ponder. $24?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more?
Yeah. One more.
We reached our first milestone of the day and we're finally ready to get to work. There's a lot of shimmying and moving around and moving of materials just to get to the east side of the house, but I think we're ready to go. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get the toe boards taken down and both the ladders put up, but we don't want to do double work, so we're gonna do the first row or vertical row or whatever on the toe boards, and I'm gonna jump up there via the ladder to help cut all the foam off. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think this side of the house is gonna be a lot easier. As you see now, it's already sometime past noon and there's shade over here. So part of the basket is in the shade-ish. But basically we could quickly come down via the ladder and jump in the shade, where yesterday we didn't have that choice. We were just getting absolutely scorched. So here goes nothing.
gonna be another couple hours, right?
Yep, but it's cool.
Not really. I mean, I don't know what time we were up there, but like it was pretty quick, probably hour and a half.
Yeah, I think so.
Half the roof. It sounds magical to me.
Yep, I say let's get her done.
So we just had some friends stop by.
They took 5 gallons of apricots off our hands. Yeah. Now we only have like
35 gallons.
25 gallons to get rid of.
And an armload of garden produce.
Sent them home with a whole bunch of kale, chard, sorrel, basil.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's about it. That's all.
That's it.
Nothing major.
But it doesn't look like you've touched the garden, so.
Yeah. Let's push.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then we'll rest.
We kind of talk about how if we wake up early and we put in a full day, then in theory, we should be able to stop at a decent hour, say 5 or 6 p.m., have a relaxing evening. But if you've been working in the heat all day, why would you stop just when it gets cool outside? We feel that during the heat of the day, we're just, you know, one foot in front of the other, but the real productivity doesn't happen until the sun goes down, so that's how we end up with these crazy long days. But you can't deny that we're almost 3/4 done with the substrate, and if we were putting in easy days, man, I just don't know when it would get done.
And that's how you finish a cut.
Do we need any more little pieces to bring up, or?
Nope.
That's it.
Need 6 full sheets.
Oh man, so I'll track line and you can carry.
If you can boom out.
Gotcha.
Actually, yeah, boom out and back up or something, or I don't know. We need to figure out how to get around the forklift. So boom up and then back up. A little less. Okay, good. Sharper. Sharper. More. There you go. Straight. Okay, stop. Good. Perfect. Perfect.
Two more?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Ready to do this? Ready to be done? Good job, Alyssa. Left your gloves somewhere not up here. Guess I'll go gloveless.
Well, I didn't do the bestest job putting these bottom furrings on because I went backwards across the roof, so I couldn't measure the way I measured when I put them on. So the other way, so these bottom ones are just a little bit off. Bueno. Ooh. Whee! Pretty sure I just felt the breeze blow up my skirt.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not even wearing one. Do you think I should get a kilt?
I don't know. There's some men that swear by them.
There's a company that makes the work kilts.
Really?
Maybe you ought to try them out.
Ready? Go. Good. I think another reason we enjoy working this late in the evening is I feel like the weather's finally cooled off and it just gives you a moment to look around at this beautiful area that we chose to move to. most of the time we're not enjoying the view, we're thinking about our problems. I think when you take on such a large project, you have to find a way to enjoy it. Otherwise, it'll just consume you, and every time you go to work on it or think about it, you'll just feel like bad on the inside and feel tension and whatnot. And we're trying hard to make the house build not feel like that. So this is the panel right here, but we're gonna have to move our harnesses.
We just need to detach this, put the plywood on, flip them back down, and reattach them.
Do you guys think anyone's ever fallen asleep on a roof while working on a roof? Not just any old roof. 12-12 pitch. I could totally fall asleep right now. Would feel amazing. Hold on.
Oh, you're gonna have to move both sides.
Yep. Got the last row done. Not the last row we told you we were gonna do. We only did 1 row instead of 2 because the next row is gonna be a project. Don't feel like going into details, but it's probably gonna take us maybe another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and we're both pooped, so we think we're just gonna call it a night now. Best not to start projects really late in the evening after a long work day. That's our experience. Sometimes it's just good to quit while you're ahead. I think we killed it today. We were just talking how we got a later start. We did a lot of jockeying. We finished the other side, that little strip.
We had to move all this stuff.
We did prep. We moved to the other side of the roof. We took a couple of breaks. We had a friend stop by. So yeah, all things considered,
we've been moving.
Great day. We'll definitely finish this in 1 more work day.
Yeah.
We're getting there, guys. We're getting there.
This is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be about a half a work day from finishing the sheeting. In case somehow weather does decide to show up, I'm not in a position where we're like capital screwed. Like it'll suck, but we can get this dismembraned before it rains. I'm happy with today. I mean, 1 more row would have been nice, but good job.
You too.
We pushed it. Let's eat dinner. Maybe rest. Tomorrow's apricot day. It'll feel good to get some shade.
Yeah, it will.
Some rest. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, move the ladder.